All right, so today we're diving into a piece of fan fiction that has become this internet legend, really, just for how absolutely audacious it is. It's a story that takes blasphemy and turns it into a weapon to explore some really big ideas: control, desire, and ultimately what it means to be free from the kind of rules that define gods and devils.
And really, the entire story hinges on this one central, very provocative question. What if the path to finding yourself, to being truly free, isn't through being good, but by committing the ultimate sin? What if that's the real first step towards some kind of revelation?
So, to really get what's going on, you have to understand the two worlds being smashed together here. You've got heaven on one side, all divine purity, total obedience, sterile gold. And then you've got hell, a world of forbidden desire, rebellion, all drenched in passionate red. This isn't just your classic good versus evil. It's a battle between following your father's will and chasing your own pleasure.
And our story kicks off with the Messiah himself, Jesus, who is basically trapped in all this heavenly perfection. He's anxious, he feels like he's suffocating under the constant, watchful eye of his Father.
This little exchange right here, it tells you everything. Satan tempts him, and Jesus admits he's interested, but he's scared. And Satan's response is the key that unlocks the whole thing. God sees everything up in heaven and down on earth, sure, but hell, that's a blind spot. That's a place where you can be free.
And boom, just like that, this abstract idea of temptation becomes very, very real. In this moment, Jesus' perfect divine life gets smacked with a dose of carnal reality he just can't ignore. This, right here, is the exact point where his so-called corruption begins.
Now you got to pay attention to the wording here. Satan isn't just trying to seduce him. He's straight up saying, "Let me finish corrupting you." This isn't being framed as just lust. It's a conscious philosophical act of rebellion. It's reframing sin as an awakening. So from that initial temptation, things escalate. And I mean they escalate fast. We're heading straight for the point of no return. A full-on transgressive affair that seems designed to break every single taboo with a big, wicked smile.
And then right in the middle of all this deep theological drama, the story just throws in this moment of just bizarre human comedy. Jesus is stripped bare, and Satan's first observation is not exactly flattering.
And this is just perfect. It shows you the satirical tone in a nutshell. The Son of God, the Messiah, doesn't respond with some divine wisdom. No, he responds with pure defensive human ego. It just grounds this whole cosmic thing in something so absurdly relatable.
So, after that kind of awkward start, the seduction really gets going. Satan smooths things over with some praise, and as they get down to business, Jesus is literally gripping the sheets, bracing himself. The whole experience is described as this wild mix of intense pleasure and pain, the ultimate sin becoming the ultimate release.
And here it is. This is Jesus, completely transformed. He doesn't just accept what's happening, he's reveling in it. He's using this language of submission and pleasure that's a total clean break from who he was. He's not just being tempted anymore, he is a fully willing and, enthusiastic participant in his own liberation.
But of course, just as things are reaching their climax, there's a sudden, violent interruption. The doors slam open, the whole moment is shattered, and it's clear their private little rebellion is about to go very, very public.
And that leads us to the ultimate ordeal. Their secret is out, and they've been discovered by the highest possible authority, God himself. Yeah, God's reaction is not quiet disappointment. It is pure, unfiltered, modern shock and rage. He finds his two sons, the symbols of perfect goodness and total rebellion, together in a way he could have never, ever imagined.
So as God is screaming at them to stop, Satan yells back that he can't because he's reached the plateau. And then the author gives us this, a deadpan clinical footnote. The absolute absurdity of dropping a scientific definition into the scene of cosmic, incestuous blasphemy. That's peak satire right there.
And this is where the real conflict is laid bare. God only sees sin. He sees a violation of his laws, something unforgivable. But Satan's defense, it has nothing to do with sin or rebellion. It's just a simple, powerful declaration. I love him.
So this huge confrontation forces Jesus to make a final, definitive choice. This is the moment of truth. He has to decide right now who he is and who he belongs to. And his answer is the absolute turning point of the whole story. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't beg for forgiveness. He chooses love over obedience, pleasure over purity, and his own identity over being owned by his Father. He is declaring his independence.
And just like that, God, the all-powerful Creator, is left totally powerless. He can't force them apart. All that's left for him is this bitter, empty threat as he just leaves, abandoning them to the new reality they've just chosen for themselves.
So what happens after you defy God and win? Well, in the aftermath, Jesus and Satan are finally completely free to create a brand new existence entirely on their own terms.
Jesus completes his journey. He completely sheds that meek Messiah persona and embraces a brand new identity built on confidence, on freedom, and, as the text puts it, on his lascivious, fierce, and wild gay side. It is a total reinvention.
And then the story shows us their ultimate act of creation, with this absurd simplicity. Building a universe isn't some divine week-long project. Apparently, it's a simple 5-step process that starts with defiance and ends with them literally shaping new worlds with their bare hands.
And this brings us to the final, absolutely delicious irony of the story. The old God, the symbol of order and control, is left behind, a captive in hell, lost to drugs and alcohol. So while he's just fading away, the new gods are busy creating a brand new reality born from pure pleasure.
Which leaves us with the story's final, lingering question. By stripping away all the divinity and just focusing on love, on choice, and creating your own identity, the story really asks us to think, when an act of love completely shatters the rules, is that just a sin? Or could it be its own kind of revelation?